Hello everyone, my name is Tarun and I'm from CSC department and my roll number is 22211A0539. In this video, I'm going to explain about layout manager classes in Swing in Java. So there are many types of layout manager classes. Let us first know what is a layout. Layout is the way the components are arranged. So what are the components? Components can be like buttons, labels, text fields, text areas, etc. These are considered as components. So the way these components are arranged is known as layout. These components are arranged in containers like JPanel, JFrame, etc. So we use layout manager classes to set the layout of these components in the container. There are many layout manager classes like we can set the layout like any way. There are many types of layouts in Swing. So there are many types. Here I have listed only six. The different types of layout manager classes in Swing are flow layout, border layout, grid layout, box layout, card layout, grid bag layout, etc. There are many layout manager classes. So what is flow layout? In this flow layout, the components are arranged in left to right flow, much like lines of text in a paragraph. If a row is filled with full of components, then the next components will be added to the next row. This is how the flow layout works. This is one of the types of the layout manager classes used to set the layout of components. So the other layout is a border layout. This border layout divides the container. Like we have container like JPanel, JFrame, etc. This border layout divides that container into five regions: north, south, east, west, and center. And each region can contain only one component. Like we have five regions. These in each region we can contain only one component. If adding a component to that region will replace, like remove the existing previous component and it will replace that with new component. So this is how border layout works. And the next layout is grid layout. In grid layout, all the components will be of the same size, like equally sized cells. And all the components will be specific with a all the components will be with a specified number of rows and columns. Components will be added from left to right, top to bottom. And the next layout is box layout. In box layout, the components will be added either in vertical or horizontal manner in a single line. So the next layout is card layout. In card layout, each component will be considered as cards and where only one card can be visible at one time. And if we want to see the other card, we have to shift it. Like we can shift the cards. And only one card can be visible at one time. Like we can only see one component at one time. This is how card layout works. Let me show you code and it will be easy to understand these layout manager classes. So this is flow layout example. In this flow layout example, first I have imported these Java x.swing.star and java.awt.star. These packages I have imported and I have created a public class, and inside this main class I have created a frame, and in this frame I have set default close operation. Like we can click the cross symbol and it will close automatically. And I have set the size of this frame width is 300 and height is 200. And I have created a panel with new flow layout. I have given the instance here. So this will set to flow layout, and I have added buttons to this panel. The first button name is button 1, the next button name is button 2. Like this, I have created 5 buttons and added it into the panel, and I have added this panel to frame and made the frame visible. Like we have this method called set visible, and if you pass true, then this frame will be visible. If you pass false, the frame will be not visible. So now let me show you the output. So this is how flow layout looks. So we can see here the buttons are in a flow like left to right, and if we decrease the size of this frame, the buttons will go to the next line. So this is how flow layout works. And the next one is border layout. In this border layout, same I have imported these packages and created the class, and inside this main function, I have created this frame and given the name of the frame as border layout example, and set default close operation like same, and I have set the size of this frame as width is 300 and height is 200, and created a panel and set the layout as border layout. And inside this panel, I have added 5 buttons and given the names of the buttons as north, south, east, west, center, etc. And inside this frame, I have added this panel and made the frame visible. Let me show you the output of this program. So we will get the output like this. The components will be distributed like this in the border. There are 5 components here we can see. So border layout works like this. Next, grid layout. In grid layout, I have imported the same packages and created a class. And inside the main method, I have created frame with name grid layout example and set default close operation. Same, I have applied this, and the size of the frame I have set as width is 300 and height is 200. And I have created a panel with grid layout and added these buttons whose names are like button 1, button 2, button 3, button 4, and I have added the panel to this frame and made this frame visible. Now let me show you the output. So this is how grid layout works, and all the components are of the same size. You can see there are 4 components and each component is same size. There is no difference in size. Next, box layout. I have imported these packages and created the class called box layout example. And inside the main method, I have created the frame and given the name of the frame as box layout example and set default close operation. And I have set the size as 300 width, height is 200, and created the panel. And in, for this panel, I have set the layout as box layout, and I have added the buttons. There are 3 buttons I have added here, button 1, button 2, button 3, and I have added this panel to frame and made the frame visible. Let me show you the output. we'll get output like this for this box layout. They are in y axis because I have said this box layout dot y axis. That's why they are like y axis, aligned in y axis. There will be no change in the size. If I resize this frame, there will be no change. So this is how box layout works. Next, card layout. I have imported these packages javax.swing.star, java.awt.star, and java.awt.event.action event, and this java.awt.event.action listener. I have created this class called card layout example, and inside this main method I have created the frame and given the name as card layout example, and I have set at this default close operation, and the frame of the size of the frame is given as width is 300 and height is 200, and created this panel with card layout, and created this panel again the other panel which is card, and before that I have created the panel called card panel. Inside this card one, I have created a label card one and added it to the card one. And next I have created the second card which is card 2 and added a new label which is card 2 to this card 2 panel. And for card panel I have added card 1 and card 2, and I have created this card layout object and get layout to get the layout, and I have created this button panel object which is a panel and added buttons like show card 1, show card 2. Created first we have to create these buttons and we have to add this to this button panel. I have added here and created this add action listener, and for frame I have set the layout as a new border layout, and for frame I have added this card panel and border layout dot center, and I also added button panel and border layout dot south and made the frame visible. Let me show you the output. So this is how we'll get the output for card layout. We can press these buttons to change the card. Here first we have card 1. If we click this, we'll get card 2. This is how it changes. And if I press again show card 1, we'll get card 1. So this is all about a card layout. There are many other layout manager classes as well. So this is all about layout manager classes in Swing in Java. Thank you.